All right, welcome back. So let's take a look at this next one. This one gets a little bit more complicated with the fact that we do have an absolute value as part of our piecewise function. But here's the thing, we know how to graph absolute values. We're still going to go ahead, we're still going to follow those same rules. All right, so first thing that we want to do is we want to figure out what our starting point is. So we're going to take the -7, we're going to plug that on in. I'm going to do that off to the side here. That is 2 times the absolute value of -7 plus 2. That's going to give me, what is that? -7 plus 2 is -5. Absolute value of that is 5. So 2 times 5 is going to give me 10. That means my starting value here is going to be at -7, 10. Now I do know that this is going to be an open circle, so -7, 10. And I want to be able to graph everything to the right. I want everything that is bigger than -7. Now looking at this absolute value graph or absolute value equation, I could go ahead, I could figure out what the vertex here is going to be. I see that the vertex is going to be at -2, 0. So I'm going to plot that point as well, -2, 0. I also see that the A value is 2. First of all, it is positive, which means that the graph is opening up. And I'm going to go ahead and see that that slope there, I'm basically going 2 over 1. So as I start from -2, I can count up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, all the way till I run out of room. And then I'm going to go in the opposite direction as well. Up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. And if we've done this correctly, we should go ahead run into that open circle there. So we've got our first part that we can connect the dots on. Keep in mind there should be arrows on the end because that graph keeps on going forever and ever. And now let's look at that second part. Notice again that there is no variable here. It's only a 3. That means we're going to be having a horizontal line at 3 in between the -8 and the -7. So my starting point I will have as -8, 3. My ending point I'm going to have as -7, 3. -8, 3 is going to be an open dot. And then -7, 3 is going to be a closed dot. And we'll go ahead, we'll connect it in between. Now this last one, again, I want to figure out that starting point. So I'm going to plug the -8 in. I have -1/2 times -8 plus 2. That's going to give me 4 plus 2, which is 6. So I have -8, 6. This 2 is going to be an open dot. -8, 6. Notice open dot, that's okay. Closed dot, that is not okay. Now I do want everything plotted to the left here. I do see that this is a negative sloped line, and keep in mind a negative sloped line looks something like that. So as I am moving to the left here, notice that that line is going up. I'm going up 1 and I'm going over 2, and then I can go ahead and I can connect the dots there. I've got my piecewise function. Now, so far we've only been doing 2 or 3. For this last one, I've got 4 pieces. The first piece that I have here, I again see that there is no variable, which means again it's going to be a horizontal line. So it's going to start at -7, -8. So at -7, -8, that is going to be an open dot. And I want everything less than -7. So I have this going off to the left-hand side here. All right, I now want the negative absolute value of x plus 3. Well, I'm going from -7 to -1. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to plug that -7 in. When I do -7 plus 3, that gives me a -4. Absolute value of -4 is 4, and then I have a -4, so -7, -4. And then I'm going to plug in -1. Negative 1 plus 3 is going to give me 2. Absolute value of 2 is 2. And then the negative of 2 will give me negative 2. So I am starting at negative 7, negative 4. That is going to be a closed dot. And I am ending at negative 1, negative 2. So ending at negative 1, negative 2, which is going to go ahead and be an open dot. Now, here's the thing too. A lot of times we want to say, ooh, let's just go ahead and connect the dots. But this, again, this is an absolute value, okay? We need to think about where our vertex is. The vertex for this one is going to be at negative 3, 0. Notice negative 3 fits in between negative 7 and negative 1. So I have to take that into consideration when I go ahead and I am plotting this absolute value. Notice that my A value is negative 1. So from that vertex, I'm going down 1 over 1. Down 1 over 1, notice I run into my open circle. Go in the other direction as well, down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, and I run into the starting point. So here is my second piece. And now I want to go ahead, I want to figure out what my third piece is. I am starting at negative 1 and I am going to 3. So if I go ahead and I put negative 1 in, well, negative 1 squared is going to be 1, and 1 minus 1 is going to give me 0. So I'm going to start at negative 1, 0, and that is going to be a closed dot. We're then going to put 3 in. And if I do 3 squared minus 1, well, 3 squared is 9, and 9 minus 1 is going to give me 8. So I have 3, 8, and that is going to be an open dot. Now, notice that this is an x squared minus 1, and we haven't necessarily gone over how to actually graph x squareds just yet, but we do know how to evaluate a function. So what we want to do, we know we're starting at negative 1. We know we're going to end at 3. I need to figure out, well, where are we at 0, 1, and 2? If I plug 0 in, 0 squared minus 1, I have 0, negative 1. If I plug 1 in, 1 squared minus 1 is going to give me 0, so I have 1, 0. If I plug 2 in, 2 squared minus 1, that's 4 minus 1, which will give me 3. I have 2, 3. And I've just gone ahead and I have figured out what the rest of that graph for my parabola for that x squared is going to look like. Now, the last part that I have is going to be the 1/3 x plus 5 when x is greater than 3. I want to figure out my starting point. So I'll plug in 3 times 1/3. Well, that's 1. 1 plus 5 is going to give me 6. So 3, 6. I have another open dot at. And then I'm going off to the right here. I'm going to use my slope. So I'm going to count 1 up and 3 over. 1 up and 3 over. And we'll go ahead, we'll connect the dots. So we talked about a whole bunch of stuff in these two videos here. All right, all of it going ahead and focusing on piecewise functions. Del Zadi is done for today. I will see you in class.